Hello everyone, my second mini-conference focuses on the international music scene, analyzed through its origins and diversity. Since prehistoric times, humans have had to sing, but the first public performances took place in ancient Greece. Frescoes depict musicians and singers. Unfortunately, few documents from this period have survived. Neither the music nor the lyrics were written down. The first true artists performed in public in the Middle Ages. Texts and scores have been found. These are the songs of the troubadours. They wrote in the Roman language.
Considérant que je ne puis ne joue avant ne arrière, me saoulant en un puits caché sans que rien n'y perd.
Ma douce, auriez-vous le vent qui vous conte le troublement cœur doleur? Car suis-je lointain en terre de Palestine, sous soleil ardent qui tout ravine. Ma soif ne saurait être estanchée sans vous voix fine.
Later, these medieval songs were spread by traveling merchants, who passed from village to village. They adapted the lyrics into the language of the region they were traveling through. Local artists, in turn, transformed the lyrics and music to evoke places and legends from their region. They helped create a body of folk songs that we still sing today. Here are 3 examples from France and Russia.
Les pichotes de province ont te loup sous le restaurant. Y trevo ma jouinesse d'enfant dans la lavande ou un flou. La lavande mandant son parfum mi foreva des vieilles temps. Quand les cabres d'acquet montagno cantavo la chanson de l'Ustor.
Qua si cade sulla d'amore, quello si trova dici come un mare. Sotto montagne chinate di stelle, i venti che cantano le più belle canzoni.
Ветры вольные гуляют над просторами степными, ковыли, как волны, тают под небесными огнями.
At the same time, from the Renaissance period onwards, a much more complex musical genre developed in the princely courts: classical music and its song version, opera.
Come silenzio avvolge l'anima mia, mentre la sera scende dolce e pia. Il sole muore, l'ultimo bagliore, e nel mio cuore risorge un antico dolore.
Classical music dominated the musical scene for 2 centuries. It was not until the end of the 18th century and the time of the Great Revolutions that song returned to the streets in the form of revolutionary anthems and marches. Following the example of the Marseillaise, each great revolution had its own. Here are 2 examples, one Ukrainian, the other Mexican.
Ветер степом несе пісні, земля чорна, як ніч горить. Махно кличе, брати, вставай, захистимо наш рідний край. Селяні кидають плуги, беруть шаблі і бахнети, не боїмося нікого, ми боремося за вільність. Сіти приспів, чорна армія, чорний стяг, воля в серці, а в руках паті. Проти червоних, проти білих ідем, свою волю нікому не віддаєм. Наша вітчизна, наша земля, нехай вільним буде кожен край.
El viento susurra su nombre con un eco de fervor. Pancho Villa es leyenda, su vida un resplandor. Pancho Villa cabalga con su alma en rebeldía, con la luna por testigo y el fuego que lo guía. En el corazón del pueblo su bandera siempre ondea, un héroe de la historia que jamás retrocede.
Born of revolutions and class struggle, a new style of song emerged in cabarets, the realist song. It is the literary counterpart of the realist novel, Zola's novel. Misery and despair are sung to a sad piano. Bruant is its leader and the Chat Noir its setting.
Dans la rue chaude où l'on sifflera, j'ai vu la misère marcher à petits pas. Elle sonnait de l'or et de chagrin profond dans les regards éteints des pauvres vagabonds. Ses mains sont pleines de rien, ses poches de poussière. Elle a pour seul ami le pavé, la misère. J'ai vu l'ouvrier courbé, le dos sous la machine. Il a la face de cire, les yeux pleins de famine. Il travaille sans fin pour un bout de pain noir. Et le soir venu, il n'a qu'un lit de désespoir. Si vous m'entendez, vous les gens de lumière, qui passez sans un regard, sans une prière, n'oubliez pas que sous les ponts, dans le noir et le gel, il y a des cœurs qui battent sans un bras de chandelle, des âmes qui s'éteignent, des visages de misère, qui chantent leurs complaintes dans les contes de la prière.
Misery and despair. Other men and women have known them for a long time, and they did not wait for someone to sing them for them. It was the inhabitants of Black Africa who were sought out in their villages and led into slavery. The chants and rhythms, once war songs, have been transformed into prayers and songs of despair. But they have retained the jerky rhythm that led men to battle. These songs were deeply rooted in the experiences of enslaved African people in the USA and served many purposes, from expressing their faith and hope for freedom to being used as coded messages. It is a significant example of the origin of the classic spiritual. Under the guise of a religious song, it is also a message of resistance against the oppression of the white man. The lyrics often have a dual meaning, referring both to spiritual cleansing through baptism and a more literal instruction to enslaved people to wade in the water to avoid being tracked by dogs while escaping.
Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water, God's gonna trouble the water. If you don't believe I've been redeemed, just follow me down to the Jordan stream. Wade in the water, children. Wade in.
The second verse speaks of a yearning for heaven, but also carried a message of escape. The sweet chariot could be a symbol for the Underground Railroad, a network of secret routes for escape.
Tell all my friends I'm coming for to carry me home. Swing low, sweet chariot,
From 1880 to 1920, musical production was organized around three major poles. Classical music with its great masters, successors to Mozart, Bach and Beethoven. Realistic street music of European origin, dominated by the French movement, and African-American music. These three major poles became professionalized with the invention of the gramophone and recording on discs. The birth of the music industry was confirmed. What's exciting about the evolution of the musical world is the bridges that are being built between musical genres without any of them really disappearing. We're going to play on variations and new things. Black American music was going to develop between the two wars. The African American population found in music new weapons to escape the ghetto and assert their rights. The long march to emancipation had begun. In the chic clubs of New York, black musicians introduced a new rhythm derived from plantation music, but more danceable and carefree, ragtime.
City streets are slick with rain, the gaslights glow so dim. I see a ghost of an old piano on a memory's brim. The clinking glasses, painted smiles, the chatter and the haze.
The recording industry has not yet revolutionized the behavior of listeners. Following the successive inventions of the American Edison and the Frenchman Edward Léon Scott, we now know how to record and reproduce sound and consequently songs, but it was the German engineer Emil Berliner who emigrated to the USA and his brilliant invention of the 78 RPM record, which launched its commercialization at the end of the 19th century with the Berliner gramophone. Caruso was the first great singer to try the process. The English, in turn, published their own label EMI Records Singing, his master's voice, soon followed by the French Pâté Marconi. In France, the public is divided into two groups, the working class, who prefer the rhythms of the waltz, and the bourgeoisie, who are tempted by American novelties grouped under the term jazz. During the Belle Époque, people sang, but above all, they danced a lot. The richest went to the grand hotels of New York, London and Paris. The poorest went to the Irish pubs or the guinguettes, the drinking establishments built along the Marne. A new musical form inspired by the waltz was invented there, the musette, played on the accordion.
La brume se lève sur la Marne, les guinguettes s'éveillent en douceur. Un accordéon murmure et m'entraîne au bal des amoureux et des danseurs. 1, 2, 3, le musette nous emporte sur les bords de la Marne. On se sent bien, la romance est à nos portes. Dans l'air flotte un doux parfum de lilas.
The European bourgeoisie, and particularly wealthy French women, discovered a form of freedom in music. Taboos and paternalism were over. Women asserted their identities. They smoked, drank, and demanded sexual freedom. They followed the example of the English suffragettes, but adapted it with a kind of bourgeois frivolity. It was the age of the Charleston.
Les jupes volent et les cheveux sont courts. Le passé s'efface en moins d'un jour. On a brisé les vieilles chaînes dans cette folie qui nous mène. Plus de corses et plus de grands discours, juste la vie qui s'offre à son tour. On danse, on rit, on oublie